Welcome to Dirty AF, the podcast where we get down and dirty with dirt track racer Jason Brandes and his race crew. We'll go over highlights, lowlights, and everything in between. Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cry, and there might even be times where you get downright angry with us. But in every episode, we hope that you are left with a desire to join us in getting dirty as...
Alright, welcome to the second episode in Season 2 of Dirty AF. I'm your host, Nicole Wilson, and it is the evening of May 6th, 2022, and I'm sitting here with Jason Brandes and Jolly after the Friday night races at Gravity Park. On the track tonight, Jason came in first in the heat race, woo woo, and third in the feature. So what happened tonight, guys?
I don't know, whatever we did this week in the garage show paid off. Yeah, heat race, the car was a rocket. Had all kinds of grip, had all kinds of bite. I was pretty happy with it. Oh, well, I shouldn't say it. Pretty happy with it.
The track had a little more grip and bite because
Yeah.
it was nowhere near as dry as it was last week, so that helped too.
And then, you know, the feature, I just tried to stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble, keep it clean. Whatever happens, happens at that point.
Yeah, we changed a few things in the car this week in the garage. We rescaled, we did some weight stuff, did some spring adjustments and trying to find a little rear bite after week one.
Yep.
Wasn't real quite sure how the car was going to react, what we needed to do to make it better, make it faster, make it grip. Some of the changes we made, I think, here in the feature.
Is a step in the right direction.
In a step in the right direction, but there's a little bit yet that we got to find.
A little more work that's got to be done yet.
But
To fine tune it.
But overall, I think, coming out third after fifth last week and the dry, I think we're making progress. And all you can do now is, we had a little stint there. We ran in the front for 4 or 5 laps here in the future, so that was good. Just like I said, the outside line seemed to, the line too, them guys seemed to carry a little more speed on the outside towards the end there. That got you in the last 5 or 6 laps.
Yep.
But it was just a matter of, they were just hooked up just a little bit better than we were. And
Yeah, totally pleased with the car. Another good showing on our part. Let everybody know we're going to be here all year long. Probably be in the top 5 all year long.
well, I hope so.
That's our goal. So, heat race is a heat race win, I guess. That's what we take. Not dissatisfied at all.
No,
I think we're making the right steps, I believe. So
I just felt like when I watched that feature, when you got out in the lead and you were doing all right, and there was a couple guys that they were just hovering at the door, and it's like, can we keep them at bay? Can we keep them at bay? Can we keep them at bay? Did I do the right thing? Is the car going to come to him? Is it going to fall off? And you think it fell off?
I feel like it fell off a little bit towards the end. I had to start being much more gentle with the throttle. But could have been the line I chose to.
Like I said, with this new setup that we put in the car and that things too, what I made changes to between your tackiness of your heat race and then this feature, maybe I went too far one way or not far enough, and that's all things we're gonna have to take the numbers
Right.
and see what we
Yep.
can do to change it. So.
Yep.
But,
All in all, happy. Another good night, another clean night. Not a whole lot of work to do in the car except for whatever we want to monkey with. So,
Yeah,
car's coming home straight again. That damn motor's still running about as solid as she did the day we put her in. So, that's
it had to be tough though too with the feature there with the ambulance and whatever happened.
Man.
They had you on the first. It took the race before you had a lot of cautions and they had some stuff and a bunch of wreckers pulling cars off. And you guys sat in that pit box for a long time. What happens to you when you sit in that pit?
I had to pee so bad it wasn't even funny.
And then when you got out on the track, you ran around the track like 10 times, and then
Then they stopped us again, and I was like, Man, you guys don't understand how bad I gotta pee. I was actually thinking about peeing myself. That's how bad I had to pee. I was like, I should just piss my pants right now and just call her good.
Does that,
But
mean we gotta get, does that mean we gotta get some Depends for you for when you're
something,
in a race car, or
Jesus, good gracious, man.
what? I mean, that probably wouldn't be the first time a race car driver does that.
And then, top 4 pull to the infield, Thank God the inspector looked at my car right away and looked at me. He's like, "You're good to go." And I'm like, "Good, because I got to get out of here, man. I got to pee or I'm going to pee in the infield."
We were all sitting down there like, where'd he go? Like, he finished
But
third.
then
Why
again-
isn't he down
but
there?
then again, they just inspected you for your heat race win, too.
Right,
So
right.
when you came in, they're like, yeah, you're good. So, plus the times that how many times you were inspected last year, I think we gained enough
Yeah, I mean,
trust in them guys that were doing the right thing.
yeah, I
So
don't think
that's-
they're going to look at us real heavy. I don't think.
Because,
But,
I mean, how many times you were inspected last year and we never had any issues, so.
right.
When you do things the right way, you kind of build that reputation that you're not doing anything you're not supposed to be, so. That's always a plus.
Talk a little more about that feature. In the early goings of that feature, there's a lot of guys here that got much bigger motors and stuff than we have, and we were giving every single one of them a run for their money in the beginning part of that feature. They weren't getting away from me.
They didn't really get away from you much. They weren't really pulling away from you at the end of the feature either. It's just they had the momentum coming out the outside when you had that inside line, because it was either you went way outside or you had to go way inside to avoid that hump and one again. If you could pick a half a lane up.
Yeah, you couldn't pick a
but
half
you
a lane
couldn't,
though.
because the hole was there in that turn one like there was last weekend. You had to go way outside or you had to go way inside to avoid that hole. And the guys that went way outside seemed to be able to carry their momentum. And when them guys are outside of you, you can't go there because they're there. So it's either you drop in behind them or you got to try a different line.
I think if I
hope
remember,
you can hold it.
I think if I remember right though, I did put it up there for like 2 laps though. And I mean, it rolled through the corner nice up there, but coming out of it was just brutal.
See, that to you felt that way, but to us watching it, I thought it looked better coming out, and I thought you carried more speed coming out when you went up than you did when you went down.
Oh, to me it felt brutal inside the car. I mean,
But
to me it felt like it was going to push me right out to the cornfield.
See, I don't think that it's looked that way to me watching it, but
That's how it felt driving it. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not sitting in the car either, so. I mean, it's about what you're comfortable with being able to, whether or not it's going to hold. You got to be.
Well,
able to trust when you
eventually,
stand on it and go, it's gonna
eventually,
go.
I'm gonna push that limit, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna get tired.
You
Eventually,
tried to do that in 3 and 4. I thought the old infield orange and white tire were going to get it.
Well,
Thank God
whatever.
we avoided that. We didn't need orange paint on the
Hey,
front.
I had another good save on the front stretch, all right?
Yeah,
I thought she was coming around.
I thought
I
for sure it was coming
was
around.
trying to thread the needle.
You were.
We were threading the tires and not the needle.
I saw that. I was just going to myself, don't spin out, don't spin out, don't spin out, and then you saved it. And I'm like, thank God he saved it. Now it cost you a couple spots that you had to fight back from.
I didn't fight real hard because it didn't take me long to get them back.
Yeah. but in that right after that is when I think the car looked its best.
Well, I probably heated the tires up when I tried to put her through the freaking infield, take her by on,
But them next 4 or 5 laps is when the car I thought looked the best, and that's like, what was going on then that didn't go on at the end? I don't know. Was it because you were pushed a little harder when them guys got alongside you? Was it?
Maybe I just.
I don't know.
After I almost looped it, I think I started to drive angry. Like I could feel my blood pressure going up. So at that point, maybe I just didn't give a shit of what was going to happen.
Like I said, I think that's when the car looked its best. Was them next. Like,
I did
4 or 5
notice.
laps
I
after
did
that.
notice when Everard got on the high side of me, and I could hear him there, and I couldn't see him. Then all of a sudden, I could see him. Then I could only hear him. Then I could see him. And next thing I know, he drove right around me on the outside, and I was like. Then I think I started pushing the car a little too hard, and I was driving it too deep into the corner. I was getting a front wheel slide, and it just.
It upset the balance. Of
It
the
upset the
car
balance of
coming
the
out.
car, and I'm gonna say that a 3rd place finish tonight is probably on me. It's probably not on the car.
I I still think just by looking at the numbers after the race, though, there's a little more to gain somewhere because our RPMs were a little higher. I feel like our tire pressures and stuff where they changed.
Our engine builder does not like that thing screaming at 6,500 RPMs. He told me that. He goes, a lot more shit can break at that high of RPM. That's what he told me. We keep her at the 62 range. He's a happy guy.
Like I said, we're pushing a little too close to the chip. So
Right.
When you came out at 62 on the heat race, I was like, that's beautiful.
The engine guy liked it too.
Well, and I like it because I know that means you're hooked up, your setup's good, you're getting traction, you're getting everything that your rear bite and everything that you want, and it's not just spinning tires.
Last week, 6,500, all it was spin tires.
Yeah, and that's what ended up happening. Whether it's where our weight was, did our springs, did we need to change? What was it exactly? Is it where I placed the weight?
A little birdie told me today after the feature here. He told me, he goes, probably about another 30 pounds to the left and up would probably help with the drive off. So.
Well, and we talked about it, and
we have it here.
Well, we have a little bit more, but not quite 30. But we can find it.
Yeah, well, we can get it.
We get that.
I know a guy that's got buckets of it.
You know a guy? I know a guy that said he was going to melt it down and make it into useful pieces.
Yeah, well, he got drunk and didn't.
I know he forgot about it.
He didn't remember.
He forgot to take it with him when he left the shop.
He had too many captains in him. Anyways.
But yes,
Other than that, good productive night. Another good finish. We're off to a good start for the season. Car's coming home straight again. Can't argue about it.
Yep.
I just also want to give a big shout out. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. You guys have a good Mother's Day on Sunday. Other than that, I think the Brandis Racing team is probably going to drink some beer.
Sounds good to me.
And you can catch all the races. We go live for the heat race on our Facebook, Brandis Racing Facebook page. And then we also put the feature on our YouTube channel. So we'll wrap this up by thanking both of you guys for sharing this conversation with us and thanking our listeners for paying attention to what we're doing out here. New episodes of Dirty AF are released on Tuesdays on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe where you are listening so you don't miss an episode. And just a reminder that we want everyone that's here listening to come join us in person every Friday night at Gravity Park in Chilton, Wisconsin, where the pit gates open at 3, spectator gates open at 5, and the races start at 7. We'll see you then. Thank you.
You have been listening to Dirty AF, the podcast with the Brandis Racing crew. Join us again next week where we will once again be getting dirty as...